The game has finally arrived. One of the most awaited of the whole WNBA regular season. Let me explain.
From above the break, here's Clark. Still trying to find her rhythm. A deep pull. Got it!
When Caitlin Clark was drafted, there were some players who tried to lower the huge expectations that all the fans had about the Iowa guard, and one of them was Diana Taurasi, who said literally that reality was coming for her. It wasn't just anyone talking. For those who don't know, Diana Taurasi is one of the best players to ever pick up a basketball. That's the reason why many people were waiting for this game between the Phoenix Mercury and the Indiana Fever. Yes, I know that looking at the standings, it doesn't look like such an interesting game, but you have to realize that this game represented so much more. It was a clash between the old school that has dominated the league for decades and the new generation that promises to sweep the league. But what is even more important, this duel was a showcase to see if Caitlin Clark was capable of something much bigger. It was a chance to see if Caitlin Clark was going to be able to save the WNBA. Why? Because this league needs her. It was the Fever who took the win by 6 points. Caitlin didn't have the best game of her career in efficiency, but she did absolutely everything she could to get the W. With 15 points, 9 rebounds, and 12 assists, she nearly had a triple-double in a key game for her legacy. And Taurasi, with her 19 points and also mediocre efficiency, could do nothing to prevent Phoenix's defeat. Sometimes, people forget that Caitlin is a rookie. Yes, we know we are talking about probably the best prospect in the history of women's basketball, not just in terms of numbers, but in terms of influence.
Good job by Cunningham to quickly get on Clark.
Clark sinks the screen.
Her style of play is so surreal, it's like something out of a video game. At Iowa, we saw Caitlin take impossible shots, a shot selection that looked even more ridiculous than Stephen Curry's when he was a junior at Davidson. And not only that, in addition to being one of the best rebounders at her position and playing with toughness, Caitlin has proven to be able to run an entire offense at an elite level. Her skill as a ball handler and space finder has allowed her teammates to shine every night. The guard is really a leader like few have ever seen in the history of college basketball. Logically, this phenomenon has attracted attention. No need to explain what happened, right? We've heard about Caitlin everywhere. On Twitter, on Instagram, on television. Her name was literally everywhere, accompanied by clips of the crazy stuff she's capable of doing on the court. And yes, this has been generating a huge amount of anticipation from all basketball fans around the world. Not only that, but even casual fans have heard about the Iowa guard who is turning women's college upside down. The evidence is there. Among the 6 most watched games in the history of women's college basketball, 4 of them have taken place in the last 2 seasons. And you know what's even more incredible? Each and every one of those 4 games featured Iowa and Caitlin Clark. She simply marked a before and after in women's college basketball. Now, one thing is certain, Clark has been unable to lift the NCAA tournament trophy after losing in the semifinals to Angel Reese's LSU in 2023 and in the finals to South Carolina in 2024. The guard decided to make the jump to professional basketball and forget any chance of winning a trophy that very few players are capable of winning.
Here's Clark getting some space and knocks it down.
However, before she even made it to the WNBA, her influence was felt. Caitlin was selected with the first pick in the 2024 WNBA draft by the Indiana Fever, a franchise that was in dire need of a star capable of leading a roster of players who in many cases were inexperienced. But when she had not even signed a contract that would allow her to earn $77,000 a year, Clark received very tempting offers. The most important was the one made to her by the Big Three, a league run by the legendary rapper Ice Cube that includes on its rosters a huge number of former NBA players. And of course, the fact of seeing a woman compete with them before even debuting in the WNBA was very interesting for many fans. For that reason, the owner offered Clark a contract of $5 million per year, which included some bonuses that could raise the value of the contract to $15 million in total. An absolutely absurd figure for a prospect who, as I said, had not yet played a single minute of professional basketball.
A good look from 3. She got it! The first 3!
But she rejected it, because she considered that her legacy was more important. Even more so knowing that in addition to the NIL deals that she had earned at Iowa, the guard was going to sign an unprecedented contract with Nike. A contract that will allow her to earn 45 times her WNBA salary annually. Not only has she been one of the highest paid female athletes of all time, but her contract with Nike is creating models specifically for girls. A strange move in an industry that always tries to maximize profits. Although in this case, has preferred to take more care of the brand image than the economic success. But not only brands are aware of Caitlin's enormous influence, WNBA players and former WNBA players have also shown their attitude towards the new generational talent that has just arrived in the league in a variety of ways. Diana Taurasi, was one of the first as we have seen at the beginning of the video, but there have been other players like Cheryl Swoops or Lexi Brown who have even shown their envy when talking about what Caitlyn meant for the league, something that in some ways was reminiscent of the statements made by Cavs players when they drafted LeBron James in 2003. Just imagine how good you have to be for this to happen to you. Also, since she has started playing, Caitlyn's been treated very differently from the rest of the players in her class. I mean, look at this. A player who was shooting free throws defended her when she hadn't even shot the second one yet. Have you ever seen something like that on a basketball court? Because me personally, I haven't. Not only that, but the Fever Guard doesn't stop getting hit in every game, a special treatment that only players with an incredible level of influence receive.
Thought about pulling up from three, will dip inside and lay it in.
Now, you know what? Although Caitlyn is not having the dream rookie season, the WNBA is doing some dream numbers. I mean, the league has increased their merchandising revenue by 700% and has tripled its viewership from last season, so the league is doing well. No? Well, as surprising as it may be, the WNBA is losing more money today than it usually does. Let me explain. Normally, the league has lost about $10 million annually, a figure that is not destructive, and that has allowed the NBA to keep it afloat year after year. However, it is estimated that losses this season could reach $50 million after the Washington Post published this information, and Adam Silver is not very happy about that. How is this possible? Well, the easy answer is because the league's television contracts are completely out of date. One thing we do know is that the next contracts the league signs are going to be much better, for the simple reason that the class of 2024 has had a global reach. Not only Caitlyn, but other players like Angel Reese, Camila Cardoso, or Cameron Brink have received a lot of media attention so far this season, and this is unprecedented. But if there's one thing we also know, is that Caitlyn is the undisputed leader of the class. The recognizable face that even casual basketball fans know. Her value as an athlete is infinitely greater than any amount the WNBA can afford to pay. And as a league, they should do what they can to protect her, because athletes like Caitlyn don't grow on trees.
Stays here with Indiana. Clark, a deep one. You bet!
We don't know when women's basketball is going to have a similar wave of relevance, because this has never happened before. The Caitlyn Clark phenomenon crosses borders for the simple reason that people want to see what her career becomes. They want to see if, as the experts say, she can become the greatest player of all time. The WNBA has to take advantage of this train. It has to take advantage of this expectation, improve its deals, improve its image, improve its competitiveness. Something that will eventually create more revenue, which in turn will raise the average salaries of the competition. And the only reason why this generational change is possible is because of the arrival of a generational player that threatens to change everything. Yes, Caitlyn Clark can become the savior of the WNBA, and the truth is that the league has no other option. The clock is ticking, and the improvements have to come as soon as possible.